So we have been knowing now for quite a while that Disney are making a new Star Wars movie with Rey as the main character. It's not exactly confirmed whether or not it will be called Star Wars Episode 10. I don't think so, but at the same time, I also feel like it makes sense to at least call it something like that, or Star Wars A New Order or some shit like that, just because they're supposed to be the building of the new Jedi Order. I don't really know where they're going to be going with this. But again, there's been a lot of rumors and opinions around with how this movie should go. The only thing we do know is that Rey is supposed to be building like the new Jedi Order, which pretty much should have probably been done with Luke Skywalker in episode 7, but I digress, right? There's a lot of people giving their opinions on how this movie should go. And one opinion that I have seen quite a bit floating around is that John Boyega's Finn should, of course, be a Jedi in this movie. Now, we know John Boyega has said for quite a while now he would never return to Star Wars, but I believe in an interview not so long ago, he did actually change his tone on that, saying that if it was worth his while and the script was good enough, he would actually come back to Star Wars. And I think that's basically him saying, you better not only pay me, but you better also make me a fucking Jedi, which makes a ton of sense. Now, of course, there is this report where Daisy Ridley was actually asked about this, where she does say she would love her next Star Wars movie to include Finn as a Jedi, when she was asked about that, obviously. Now, again, how Finn is not a Jedi is really, really upsetting. That was laid out. The foundation of it was so awesome in Star Wars Episode 7. A stormtrooper who leaves the First Order to, you know, join the rebels or whatever, the resistance, whatever they're called in the new ones. But not only join them, but become a Jedi. He literally used the lightsaber in the first movie. There were so many hints that he had the Force. In all the trailers, it was like made out that he was going to be the main character and the Jedi of the movie. All for it to be destroyed and tear down in episode 8, where they gave him that shitty ass plot where I don't even know, I can't even remember what her name was, the Asian girl. I can't remember her character. What was it? Rose. And Rose was the worst fucking character. She was that bad. They like wrote her out of episode 9. She was that bad and everyone hated her. Even Disney knew. And that's like, Disney usually don't admit to their mistakes when it comes to this type of thing. I just think there is so much groundwork still there that shows that Finn should be a Jedi and that Finn has the Force. The issue is with how much they've torn down his character now. How are they going to go back to this in potentially episode 10? And how are they going to make it work? Because I would hate to the core for this new Star Wars movie to start off with Rey building her Jedi Order and being like, oh yeah, and Finn had the Force, so I train him to be a Jedi. Do you know how much that would piss everyone off? And the reality is that is a very modern Disney Star Wars thing to do. That is the equivalent to the Palpatine has returned type of thing, right? And definitely probably not as bad, because that was like a history take of just the dumbest shit you could possibly see in a movie. But the reality is, if they do somehow figure out a way to make this interesting, I think they should do it. Now, again, as I said, I don't think they can just say, oh yeah, and Rey, you know, and Finn has the Force, so I turned him into a Jedi, right? They need to continue on the groundwork of the first movie. I don't know how they're going to do this. Obviously, I'm not writing the Star Wars movie. I don't actually... They are in a very tough and complicated spot to, I think, come up with an idea, because even if they were like, Finn was jerking off one day and he was like, oh my god, I can move my penis with the Force, right? even then it's a bit cliche. Like, you guys get what I mean. Like, obviously he's not going to be jerking off and moving his penis in a Disney movie. But where I'm actually going with this is he just cliche comes across it one day and he's like, oh my God, I do have the Force. It just seems like a Disney thing to do. They need to come up with an actual story. Something that would be so interesting would be to actually see Finn's backstory, how he was raised as a kid, how he became a stormtrooper, all of that type of stuff, and maybe some signs that he had the Force back then. But the reality is, with how this is going to be such a movie based off of Rey and her building the new Jedi Order, are you going to have time to include something like that? And is it going to make sense as far in the story? Because let's be honest here, it probably won't. But Finn as a Jedi needs to happen. The thing is too, I think with how John Boyega is in his career, I don't actually think it is about the money. I think John Boyega is sitting there right now, and if he was presented a script, he would definitely read it and see what he thinks. But I genuinely believe that he would only do it if the script made sense. I don't think he would just do it if they were like, yep, you're a Jedi, you just magically use the Force to force grab a Pepsi Max from the fridge, right? No, he's not going to accept something like that, especially with how we've seen him in interviews. He is going to want a good script. He's going to want something really cool, and that's how I see it. The reality is, it's almost like, I feel like it's almost more cool and more of an interesting story to have a backstory of Finn and how he became a stormtrooper and maybe him like becoming a Jedi. That's almost more interesting than Rey building up this new Jedi Order, because there's probably going to be nothing cool about this. It's probably going to be so generic and so basic. Everything you could probably think of from home, they're probably going to do that. So that's what I think. But again, I still have some hope that I think a cool story would be like Rey is building this Jedi Order and she hears about this Force user who's like a bounty hunter, and she goes to maybe speak to him, maybe try and recruit him, because she's like, I thought I was like the only Force user left. And of course it's like Grogu or something, and he's like the deadliest bounty hunter in the world. Again, I think by the time this movie comes out, Grogu should be canonically like 95 to 100, which I think is technically when Yoda started training Jedi. Issue is, at like 52 right now, he's still a baby. So I don't know how they're going to go about that. Maybe it's just like the first 60 years he's a baby, and then he grows up really quick after that. There you go, you can learn more about the Yoda species or whatever he is. I don't know. That's just an idea I find cool, is if maybe Grogu's even like potentially seen as the villain, right? We see him as this massive good guy in these Star Wars shows, and then by the time he's older, he's of course one of the best bounty hunters in the world who can literally use the Force, and he's a Mandalorian. Like, fucking, that would be sick, right? I don't know. I'm getting hella off topic here. Comment what you guys think about John Boyega and Finn becoming a Jedi. I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my sports channel, my IRL/vlog channel, and subscribe to this channel for all the latest movie content, gaming content, all of the above. And yeah, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.